Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 45 of the Siblings in Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Donnie, joined by my buddies / co-hosts, Noah and Thomas. Whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first-time or just testing the waters, we are all Siblings in Cardboard. Gentlemen, how about that Realm Fest? That was something else, wasn't it?
I actually didn't watch a lot of the Realm Fest. I know it was pretty exciting. I watched a lot of the Battle Hardened, though. Battle Hardened Bologna. Bologna. I cannot pronounce that city name.
Does your baloney have a... I don't know. I'm gonna offend somebody with that one. Let me
Be careful.
No, that old jingle, you know, I used to... I like old commercial jingles and stuff, and the Oscar Mayer songs. Yeah, Oscar Mayer. My baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. Am I showing my age here?
No, I know that.
Am I showing my age here?
No.
It is kind of old, though. You might be showing all of our ages, or at least me and
That's
yours.
okay.
Fair enough.
It works.
All right, so what else have we been getting up to in the world of Flesh and Blood, guys?
I did a little bit of playtesting against a friend on Discord for ProTour. They wanted to just playtest a little bit of Riptide versus Prism. And also, cool. I've been helping kind of write out a little bit of a script or a structure for an episode for another content creator for the Riptide deck that we took to Nationals.
Cool.
I have been more active than I was the previous week, which was part of why we did a 1 week hiatus. There wasn't a lot to do. So he said, let's take a break.
Some of us didn't take a break, and we did another thing. We were waiting for you, and in fact, it wasn't.
Oh yeah, that was a blast.
I was going to get on. I saw you there. I'm like, this is the one night I'm not getting on Discord because I'm just too tired.
It's okay. We had a
bad.
We did take a bit of a hiatus. Me and Donnie played some games. It's actually the most Flesh and Blood I played in a hot minute. It was pretty fun. I was getting kind of coached through Azalea. I've been playing some Teleshore games afterwards on Azalea. It's a lot to learn. Sometimes I'm just like, whoa, I'm just like John Madden, time to break all my gear. But it's just not like Dory. There's a really good opportunity to use Bullseye Bracers. That card's just so good. That card plus Endless Arrow just blows my mind because they're like, it's gonna hit. It's like, just give it a second. I'm like, oh, no wonder. That's how I put it back in my arsenal to make it hit again. And then I get and then I get an arsenal again because if they don't block it,
especially on the Rain Razor turn, man. Endless Arrow.
Yeah, that poor New that you were beating up on. That poor person, whoever that was, getting wrecked.
That first game was the flip side. But
yeah, I mean that's fair. The first game that we played, it was rude. New does rude things sometimes. That happened.
The funny thing is the like couple Talishar games right after that too. I got another New, did the same thing, and I was just like, I think I ended the game with like 15 cards in my deck, and I was like, I'm just not having a good like my cards are being taken from me. But definitely more Talishar and Flesh and Blood than previously, which has been good. I'm almost done putting everything back up on the market. It's been a slower than I've wanted to pace, but it's been good. The market's been pretty stagnant. Got a little bit of cool insider information from I guess a nod from the LSS employee that came in and hung out on the stream.
Well, that
which
was
is
so
super
cool.
fun, by the way. Just completely out of the blue. We had the lore and flavor text writer pop in
LSS,
from LSS.
Tummy Tea Time. Shout out to Tummy for showing up and keeping us company for a little while.
That's
and also shout out to Zach again for showing up and keeping us company too. Good looking out, buddy.
Yes, it was really cool.
Tummy dropped some spicy hints in there.
Confirmed some stuff for us. Talked a little bit about some lightning cards. Gonna go ahead and share that with everybody so I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of this all myself.
Some what cards?
Lightning cards. Lightning cards. Yes. They're not on the market minute, wildly enough, because they're kind of low right now. But you might want to take a look at that. But it was good. It was a good like pseudo stand-in week. The live stream was super fun. Some card guys popped in. So shouts to everybody that popped in. It was neat. Definitely want to do some more games. Market stuff.
That's
whatever.
Something I wouldn't mind doing
good.
later on. That was fun.
It was fun.
It was a lot of
just slam some games, have a good time, sit around, talk Flesh and Blood, whatever comes to mind. You know, just talk with the community. But it was.
I mean,
we
don't have a huge subscriber count, but we do have a few people that genuinely seem to like our content and enjoy interacting with us, at least through the comments and stuff. So I think that's something that we should probably do more of, just because it's a good time and it would invite people to interact more,
I agree.
But there was one thing that Tummy kind of hurt my feelings on when we were discussing the possibilities of Florian's different text, his different adult hero text versus the young hero, and I was way off in left field trying to figure out if Florian's going to be a necromancer or if we're getting the druid class or anything. And Thumb's like, nah, I can go ahead and cancel that Christmas for you, buddy. Nope, he is all Runeblade.
Yeah,
all Runeblade. So that's out the window. Florian is a Runeblade.
His class to change. Only his hero
it would have been so cool, though.
Get a slight adjustment.
It would have been so cool.
Blitz and CC, right?
Yeah.
They also dropped a lot of knowledge on brutes, apparently, being a condition, and not necessarily its own race. And so they said brutes has actually suffered from a lot of miswriting.
It's like a curse.
I guess, and not. We're still on odds and ends about it ourselves.
It's like an elder god thing under the Savage Lands, just like there is under almost everywhere else.
So we're this pretty much solidified that we want to get our lore expert on, because I think it'd be such a cool episode. I mean, there's going to be time when there's not enough like news, but we can still explore the world of Wraith and dive into some of this lore, especially before Monarch, the third part, comes out. I think it'd be nice to kind of get an idea of what's going on with this story.
Awesome.
So we've got our lore expert in works that I think would be super cool to have on. And some other people as well, some other guests. So we get from all over. So from the card selling, trading, business aspect to the lore aspect, there's going to be some cool guests in the near future.
Did you guys read the lore articles that dropped for the MST heroes?
I have it bookmarked. I haven't read them yet.
Okay, no spoilers, but it's been fantastic. They're cool. Wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. I want New to have a demi hero so bad. So bad.
In time.
Every time a new set comes out, ever since Leviah, it's just like, where's the new demi hero? Because like we got Leviah, then we got Teklavos, and now we just expect one every set.
Okay, but for New, it makes sense. It just makes sense. Read the article. It makes sense. That's all I'll say about it. That's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense for heavy hitters. So I don't think anyone was surprised, but we all thought that there was gonna be, my hot take was there was gonna be one demi hero for all three heroes. There's just gonna be a mystic demi hero, which I thought would have been really cool, but that's not what they went for.
There's a possibility for that if there's different like gods in different sections of, if there's one of their Savage Lands, obviously Soul. So there's a way to have like a kind of a clash of gods. And we kind of talked about that too, whether or not like the gods really have the best interest of everybody else. So like without getting into it, and without getting any spoilers, right? They usually don't, right? If you play any game, right?
I think the best that you could hope for is they don't care about you.
Right. I'm talking any game,
even
World of Warcraft, all of that, right? Like all these games have this like remake the world type thing. Usually when gods come into play, like, oh, you guys messed this up. We know how to fix it.
Pretty sure the only person that knows for sure is James White.
Probably.
And he hasn't told me yet, so.
Right. Well, James, if you're listening, come give us some insight.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't know at all yet. They're just kind of fleshing it out a little bit at a time, because if you flesh it with something as long-winded and sparsely lored as this is, if you like flesh it out too much at the end, you end up creating like plot holes and stuff anyway.
True. In a way, it's probably nice that the brutes aren't fleshed. You know what I mean? Like they get the kind of like he said, they get to explain it the way that they need to, but in time. He said it's just not the right time yet. So we will be getting some more deep dive into some of these like holes, but not yet. They're Rosetta's first, and they're on the tail end of MST, and we'll have to see how that works. All I know is apparently Lightning's in. I don't know if that's Aurora or the other one, but Lightning is in.
I mean,
my money's on Ocilio, but
the channel card says draw card, one card, extra card per turn. Drawing cards in card games, really good.
Usually pretty good.
Yeah.
In Flesh and Blood, it's even better than most other TCGs, though. because
Yeah.
a single
yeah.
card does so much in Fab.
The value's a little weighted differently, especially on some of those cards.
Well, it's
And
like
don't count the old
it's because
Lightning
every
cards either.
card has inherent value, right? It's very
Right.
rare that a card is 100% wasted because it at least blocks, right?
That's true.
It's
Yeah.
So usually that's why
every
there's like a
card,
basic
every card
3.
says gain 3 life, kind
usually.
of.
Yeah.
It's either a block or it's resources. I mean, at the very bare minimum, that's the floor. Good stuff.
That's the game we play.
Okay.
Oh.
So I guess before you hit Market Minute, I want to do this on as bookends. We have an event coming up, August 17th, bright and early in the morning at Level Up Duluth. We have a tournament.
No way.
Yeah, we have a Realm Invitational event.
Qualifier.
Yeah. Qualifier.
You mean I get to give out prizes?
I know I harp on that, but they call their big event the Realm Invitational.
Yeah.
So I feel like the qualifier needs to be tossed in there when we talk about our little event.
$30 entry. The more people we get, the more we can expand past that $500 prize pool. Come out, have a great time. Classic constructed. Georgia's not a very heavy Zen meta, even though there will be Zens there, so you can dodge the heavy Zen metas a little bit. I'm hoping to get people from Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Alabama at the event too. So it's a good time to meet your friends from the Southeast.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh yeah,
I won't let anybody walk away feeling that it wasn't a good overall experience, especially in terms of any prize support, and not just top 8. Really want to just reiterate that there'll be some raffles and stuff, and just for having a good time and showing up, guys. There'll be some cool things.
Yeah, and just generally, Level Up Duluth is a huge location with lots of things to explore. I mean, it's really a great shop. So love the venue, love the people.
It's in a cool area too.
Just come to play board games.
Yeah,
place is great.
It's got everything you want. Surrounding area too, food's great. Like an H Mart too, tons of international stuff.
Ample parking.
It's great. It is. You might have to walk just a little bit, but there is quite a bit of parking.
That is an interesting note. There is easy parking at Level Up Duluth.
I mean,
get there
that's
early. Get a good spot.
That's the thing at some shops. You have to worry about trying to get in and find a spot. I know it's a random plus, but hey, it's still a plus.
No. Look, I look at parking when we go to places, okay? Like, how easy is it there to get people? That's practicality. People care about that.
Yeah,
especially
like
drive 4 or 5
my
hours.
trip to Tampa is going to cost me like $100 to park.
I booked that package. I'm almost done booking a flight. I just need to get the days off. I think I might be in my actual like schedule. So I'll probably just end up taking like that Friday and Monday off. So I just need to take 2 days off so I can like come back and not have to go right back to work. But my plan is to either like fly out right after Thursday evening or something of that sort. So I'll have to figure it out. But I plan on being there
Thursday. So
I'm excited. I definitely want to go hang out. I want to see some people, some vendors and stuff. I want to spend money that I don't need to spend. If I don't blow it all on lightning cards before this, because apparently they're in. But we'll find out.
Of spending money, what is there to spend money on Flesh and Blood, or maybe make money?
But it's weird, right? Like, I mean, Phantom Tide mods are still creeping around. That's like the biggest thing I have now. There's quite a lot of things that are still up, but in fact, the market's still in the lull. Now, not all of it. There's a few things that have surprised me, both high and low. I would say nothing super shocking, but we're going to get a couple of ones that I think we may have touched on before. One, I don't think so. I think it's kind of nice that it's creeping up. I really think this card has future value. When we talk about meta-defined cards, we talk about things that are kind of propped up by the meta, and I don't necessarily know if it's just become a little bit more popular, but I have a good feeling that this card in the future will continue to see a surge. That's Ready Locals. And we're not talking it's anything super crazy, but I think it's closer to a $6 or $7 card. In some cases, it's with shipping and stuff, it's a little bit less than $6. But I mean, it was about a $2 card. Not like 2-3 weeks ago. And so it's nice to see. Looks like about a 256% increase over the last month, which is it's kind of nice. Most of the time I was like, oh, this is cool limited fodder. Do you know what I mean? And like in very cases it'll see constructed play, but I think it's a little bit more powerful than a lot of people take credit for.
There aren't any other effective blue block 3 attacks that are generic. It might be the only one.
Yes. And so Rowdy Locals is a blue. So it costs 0. It pitches for 3, it blocks for 3, and it has the effect on a generic action attack that if this is defended by an action card, no, just action card, this gains +2. So it's already at a base of 2, so it goes up to a 4. When this hits a hero, discard a card. If you do, they discard a card. And you better discard your card. We're going to get to that way later. You know it, but...
It's not a May effect. If you have a card in hand, you will be discarding it.
You will be throwing that card.
I think the thing to keep in mind is that it's a blue that comes in at a 4 breakpoint at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And funny enough, that card rip can also be a huge impact too. So like if you open up with throwing a Rowdy Locals because maybe you have a big hand and they have to block with 2 cards or take the hit and lose a card anyway, and then you could follow up with another 0 for 4, you could just end the game.
Did you play Rowdy Locals against me, or was it the other? Yeah, I was gonna say like somebody Rowdy Locals me.
I've been playing Rowdy Locals,
and I was
in my list basically since MST came out.
And I was like, I gotta discard a card. I was like, are you kidding me?
It's like a blue version of cut down to size, right?
Yes.
It has like the kind of same play effect. You're giving up a card, maybe 2, depending on how it's played. I like it a lot, and it's generic, so it's evergreen.
It's actually, I hadn't thought about something, but at Armory last night, one of our locals was playing Fi, and it's really good in Fi.
Yes,
100%. Thomas has marked on that before. Yeah,
because at the end of the chain, after throwing 3 or 4 draconic attacks, he threw Rowdy Locals, and he got the Phoenix Flame back to have something to discard. So, really cool interaction. Really cool interaction.
One of the best blues that he could run, and like I said, if you have Prismatic Leyline effect go on the chain, it's coming in for 5, maybe 7 instead.
So definitely don't sleep on Rowdy Locals. I don't see this thing like shooting through the roof in the near future, but it is a card that I think you need to have a playset of. Any type of generic that sees play, you really got to have playsets. It may be 2 playsets if you think I don't want to swap between decks, but that's a little far fetched, right? Just have a playset of Rowdy Locals and do it now. $5 to $6 for this playset, $15 total. You're gonna feel so much better than if this card sees like some crazy spike and
you don't
want to
sleep on it like people did with Warmongers.
You don't, or this next card, which Donnie already has a feeling what it is, because I'm gonna keep talking about it because it keeps going up, and it is Weakest Link. Weakest Link has went up again in the past month, in the past weeks. It's now sitting at almost $30 a card, guys. I promise you, Weakest Link is real. And we talked about the idea of this card. We talked about the fact that all the top heroes that we're going to get into with the tier list have 0 block cards that you can take advantage of. This is like a CNC for hand, and it's in some cases way better because you're not gonna trench your card out. You're not gonna do funny business. Most of the time, if that's going to warrant a block, or they're losing that card. And those are your key pieces. I mean, think of the no block key pieces in these decks. Activating for chi. Think about your
definitely
blue
a
cards.
Counter to the Mystic Heroes, right?
100%. But KO too.
Yeah, it's brute.
Like there are no block cards that people want to utilize in majority of these top tier decks. So you guys need to get to the realization that Weakest Link might be a real card. So Weakest Link is a red, pitches for 1, costs 2 to play, 6 attack, 3 block. When this hits a hero, look at their hand and choose a card without base block value. If you do, they discard it and you draw a card. That last part, by the way, you draw the card. They discard it and you draw a card. It's so gnarly of a swing.
It'd be potentially 12 points of value.
If it's the last card and you get an arsenal off of that, do you understand how crazy that is? Like it's insane. Like granted, they're not gonna let it hit, but you get the value exchange. or if they're like, oh, I gotta let this hit, you get the arsenal you didn't have.
Sometimes they don't get a choice.
Oh, I know. It's so, because they have a bunch of no blocks, so it feels pretty good.
If I ever think a weakest link is gonna hit, I just go ahead and throw my chi. Just play it for whatever
you can
effect it is. I mean, it sucks. It definitely sucks when I don't think I can block it out. But
at least as new, you can kind of use your hero power like right then to keep from losing the chi to your discard pile if you don't want to. Sometimes you're just like, whatever, that's just another non-block out of my deck, and it's gonna be a long game.
Right, but a lot of the times as new, when I have a weakest link thrown at me, I only have one of my chi in my hand, and I don't play any blue defense reactions or other blue instants other than the chi. So if I've just got that one, I'm either blocking or I'm just playing the chi and letting it burn, or I'm playing the instant and letting it burn, not transcending.
I mean, it's better to get approximately 1 point of value than letting your opponent get like 4 points of value.
Yeah.
It's a real, again, I mean, we talked about this. We've mentioned this card quite a few times. So you can't even say, oh, man, we didn't know about it till just now when it was $30. No, we've been talking about this one for a while. Got to have a play set of this. Now, granted, if you don't have a play set and you're just like, it is what it is. It is meta defined. It will eventually go down, just like most cards do. You'll have a chance to pick it up at a lower cost, but you do need to have a play set of this card. There will be another meta where that card goes right back up. As soon as there's a meta that a hero or multiple heroes are using non-block power cards, that card goes up. And you just have to think of it that way. So you really need to figure out a way to maybe trade, find yourself a play set of those. I think it's something that every person has to have if you're going to play competitive. You have to have it. You have to be able to attack the meta in a different way, and that's the card to do it. So those are two that we've talked about before. Now these next two shouldn't be a surprise because we've been getting a lot of support through I wanted to say third-party decks. They're not really third-party decks. They're LSS made decks, but armory decks. They're not necessarily from a set. And so you guys are thinking it's Azalea, but Azalea cards never go up. I don't know what it is. The hero's insanely powerful, and Red in the Ledger never moves. Neither does Remorseless. Like, none of the cards move. Codex of Frailty doesn't count because it's out of control anyway. And it's multiple class. But we're talking about Bolton, actually. And so it took me by surprise when I went to
complete left field on me there, buddy. I was not expecting Bolton to come out of your mouth. Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Card is expensive.
So I was going through my bannerets and I said, no way, because they don't exist right now on the market. The promo banneret of Gallantry and banneret of Courage do not exist on TCG. In fact, if I went live right now, I would have the lowest price, and I went with a really modest high price. They bought out completely at like $45 a card for the bannerets, the promos. Now, granted, they're pretty high. Now, Courage and Gallantry are the main ones. We're going to talk about both of them, but the base cards of these have gone up as well. So we're talking about a 61% increase in the last month, if not a little higher, for Banneret of Gallantry, which we'll start with first. It's selling for right now. We're seeing sales for $12.69, for $12.60, $15 rainbow foils, and that's up from where are we at? $6 card, $4.50. So we're talking about a huge jump. So people are obviously trying to see if Bolton's real. Granted, it's not every banneret, so don't get excited about the other ones. It's just mainly those two. And it has to do with the
right?
Those were from an event specifically. That was a 3-pack.
It was like Skirmish or RTN or something, right?
It was. I remember it because we were somewhere else other than it was a Battle Hardened or something like that. I just remember getting them, and then people were really, really into these promos. But like I said, even the Dusk Till Dawn, normal basic ones, that's what we're talking about right now, have seen right now, if you want a near mint, it's $13. And so it's almost 3 times what it was less than a month ago in most cases. So Banneret of Gallantry is a yellow. Most of Bolton cards are. It costs 1, pitches for 2, 4 attack, 3 block, has Soul Flare. When this is charged to your hero's soul, create a Quicken token. Really neat that the Bannerets have a way of like giving an effect, even if they're not being played, they're just being charged. And that's literally what it is. And so it's either a 1 cost 4 for 3, or 4, sorry, 1 cost 4, or it's being charged into the soul for the Quicken token for Banneret of Gallantry from Dusk Till Dawn. And so Josh has been streaming Bolton. Other people have probably thought whether Bolton's going to be real or not with the new suite of gear. We've got another hero to talk about whose full suite of gear was revealed later. But it's nice to see Bolton has some life. I had a feeling that
Bolton's
the Bolton
never
Armory
been
deck,
bad.
No, he's just been really. I don't even want to say gimmicky. He's
always been that hero that if you completely disrespect and don't know how to play against him, he's just gonna roll you. Also, when you sit down across from him, you have no idea what you're playing against. So if you sideboard wrong, you could just get rolled there too. So
I mean, I agree on that. Yeah,
I think he's always been fine. He's never been a deck that you take that you're thinking, oh, I'm definitely getting top 8. This is the deck. But it's a deck that you could take that you're like, I'm skilled, and it has legs into most matches.
Roger Bodie might have something to say about that.
I mean, I don't know, any deck that can just occasionally go, oh, here's triple Lumina, and then just kill you, like,
fine. I know you guys have seen it too. Somebody needs to comment whether you played against somebody on Talishar. I can't remember the name. That's literally all the deck is. He blocks all of his cards down to the last 4, and it's literally just the 3 Luminas and an Oath of Steel, and it's the most unfun thing I've ever had to realize is coming, because you're sitting there trying to kill him before he does it, and then it's like, oh, 4 cards left, wonder what they are, hit for 58 die. And it's like, dude, come on.
I mean, there's a good counter to that, like literally any hate card, like just anything.
But Bolton is getting support. Josh was on Hatchet's Bolton because, you know, we like our weird lists. Us warrior players, we do weird things. I don't know about that per se. But
do you guys know if Josh was going to Amsterdam?
I would assume, I didn't get confirmation.
I would assume he is. He would have left today.
Why don't we just?
I know. Our buddy Will Bradshaw left today.
Yes.
So
and good luck.
People heading out to Amsterdam are just starting to fly out.
Well, we'll have to see if we see him there then. But we'll.
Yeah, we got to figure out which one of the card guys is going to top 8 this event, because it'll be the 3rd one in a row, right? Because it was.
It's a good point.
PTLA, then US Nats, and now Amsterdam. We got to get another card guy in the top 8.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're rolling right now. They're rolling hot, and they well deserve to. They guys, they put in so much time. I mean, I know other teams do, but I mean, just actually hanging out with them and stuff, especially at LA, grinding with Blue Pitch and stuff like that. Like, obviously, you know, they've got the connections to play with these top other top players, but they're doing draft pods with whoever will do draft pods with them, trying to understand the game multiple times and weeks beforehand. So they're putting in that effort. Lots of free time is gone to really trying to understand the game, and that's the kind of stuff you need to do if you want to push that upper echelon and have a really good grasp, because limited matters in most of these scenarios. You can be the best EC player and understand your deck, but got to balance it out with some limited. I know that all too well. I'm not very good at limited most of these sets.
You got any more cards?
But it's a time thing. Yes. Sorry. The other balance Banneret, and then we'll speed through it. Banneret of Courage is the other one. Banneret of Courage again is $10 to $12, so it's shot up over the last month. Again, nothing astronomical. They haven't jumped to $30 yet. Now, granted, if Bolton becomes playable, guys, these Bannerets will skyrocket.
It's the 2 Bannerets that essentially give go again, right? Quicken gets go again, and then the +1 counter.
Courage.
Go again. Yeah, Courage.
So Banneret of Courage is going to give you the Courage. Banneret of Gallantry is going to give you the Quicken. So the +1 obviously
gives you the +1 to activate the hero
I see what
power.
you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is because remember what Bolton does, guys. If the attack's higher than the base, so yes, it's those 2 are your main Bannerets. They are very expensive in the promo version. If you want the extended arts, they do not exist right now on TCG Player. They are also very hard because a lot of people held them back. Because
nobody wanted them.
Yeah, well, nobody
have,
wanted them,
some
but they were
random ones
Nobody
also.
wanted
just
them.
sitting in my promo
That's what I'm
box.
thinking. Like,
You
do I
should
have
have
$45 just sitting in my binder.
You
What
should
am I-
have a
what am I doing?
playset of these. It would have been one of each: protection, gallantry, and courage. That would have came in. The other ones came later on in armory stuff, but those specific were handed out at like a battle hardened Atlanta or something like that, or some kind of thing. I know that for a fact. I just don't remember where, or a scrimmage or something of that sort. So courage came from Dust Till Dawn, 4 attack, 3 block, cost 1. It's a yellow, has Soulfare for the courage. And the last thing I just want to note on is Zen cards. If you think that they didn't take a hit, Ancestral Harmony has kind of come down a little bit, down to $20, because it was peaking at like 25-30, and so it has slowly started to descend. Not saying Zen's defeated, not saying he's still
Not
a
at
bad
all.
deck by any means. Just some of those explosive prices and stuff have come down. Also, I think that's because Katsu is kind of lulled as well. So Ancestral Harmony really only has one purpose right now, until Katsu gets his wings again in the next set with
Maybe.
that bonkers card they're going to give him. It's going to be
It's got to be a
crazy.
specialization. but
It's going to be
anyway.
so nuts. Wait do you see it?
It's going to
LSS
be
has a
called
way of-
Bonds of Katsu. It's just going to be Bonds of Ancestry, but it's a Katsu
Yeah.
specialization.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. They're going to fix him up.
It's going to have
real
natural go
quick.
again, though. It's not going to have non-conditional go again.
It's going to be
Chain starter.
delicious. Oh yeah.
And it'll probably cost 1, just flat out.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
It's got to be a 4 though. 1 for 4 with go again and has combo like
Yep.
spinning wheel kick. But if it hits, it counts as surging strike. Something like that.
That's what I'm
some
saying.
crazy.
There's going to be
but
some natural.
it's something Gus Wave counts as surging strike.
It's going to be
Makes
sick.
sense.
But that's all I got. Pick up your lightning cards still. I don't know exactly which ones. It's going to be hard to say. I can give you an idea that you might want to get your channel Thunder Steps, because that's go again on a stick pretty much for paying 1. I'm gonna take a stab on Blink, because why not? And Shock Charmers are at $45. So if you really wanted to get a Shock Charmers, they've dipped from that initial surge at 90. I would probably get you some Zappy Bracers, because they will go up.
They're good.
I
That is a
promise
good
you.
card. That is a
they
very,
will
very
go
good
up.
card.
Just think about it.
You
Lightning,
underestimate
Blade-
it till that one time you get zapped for like 4 damage out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
It's free real estate.
and if the card has like an on hit, it can proc multiple times, I'm pretty sure. Or
Get
if
yourself
if
some
the card
Zappy
says when
Bracers.
this deals damage.
Yeah.
So I think the card that really took advantage of that was like either Ice Vein or something like that. It's some card Lexi would play, like Elemental Lexi would play, where she would proc it and give you multiple Frostbites from just pouring into Shock Charmers.
I blocked out most of the Lexi stuff. I don't remember.
But
No, it's
But
not,
that's it.
it's not either Ice Vein. That's the actual wizard card. It's the I'll come up with it and I'll mention it later. Oh, it's Chilling Ice Vein. If Chilling Ice Vein was fused whenever an attack deals damage to a hero this turn, they discard a card unless they pay 1. Pretty sure that every instance procs on that because it counts as the card dealing damage.
It does.
And it's
yeah.
Oh.
nasty.
Ugh.
It's
Oh, yeah.
so nasty.
Oh yeah.
But by the way, that Lexi deck was not as good as the standard Lexi deck that we all saw. But if you ever sat across from it and they flipped Shock Charmers, that you were like, that's the card. When I see that played, if they've got 2 blues in their hand, you're losing your entire hand.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, we have some other new cards to talk about.
We sure do.
The Azalea deck comes out on August 2nd. I skipped the Bolton deck, but I will probably pick up the Azalea deck.
Super excited about this deck.
So we finally know what the chess piece does. It even if you buy it, even if it comes in a normal card, it's all about automatically rainbow foil. If you've seen the card art, you know what I'm talking about. It is a rainbow foil chess piece. I think it's supposed to be like an invisibility cloak or something. Like, I don't know why you'd want to wear something so shiny when you're trying to be like a hidden archer assassin. It's called a hidden agenda. So it must be an invisibility cloak. But it is a
Camouflage,
non-block
yeah.
ranger chest majestic instant. Turn a face down arrow in your arsenal face up. Gain 1 resource at the beginning of the end phase. Destroy this. And it's also an arcane barrier 1. This is a good chess piece. I don't know if
that's a solid piece.
I don't know if it's good now, but it'll be good eventually, and it might be bannable eventually.
I don't know about that.
So,
but the AB is definitely going to help with Rosetta coming out.
Okay, so let's say you have a New Horizon, and you have a 6-card hand. This can get like kind of crazy if you get enough go again, because you can keep flipping arrows face up, getting the resources, shooting the arrows, and then you combine that with Perch Grapplers that says all face up arrows this turn have go again. So there's like a big potential to proc a lot of go again arrows. So there's combo potential here. I still think that Riptide would probably be able to use it better than Azalea does, because he has easy ways to get cards into his arsenal.
Yeah.
But I think that this is a really interesting, at least it's different and interesting. I could see it being used over Tunic or over Trench Second Treasure. Or
It's
in certain matchups.
Yeah. Or I mean,
Tunic
if
is
it's
just
like a
very,
combo
very
deck,
powerful.
right? Like if there's like some Ranger OTK deck.
It's definitely faster than Tunic, right? You don't have to wait 3 turns to get the resource online. So there's definitely earlier plays. You can just come out the gate. Really, really good. It also has the extra AB when you're not using it. So I think it's a better ththing than just running the Spell Freight, because I think Spell Freight comes in when you're running against the AB heroes. And so you at least get the AB without having to give up like a non-impactful chess piece. If that makes any sense. Like at least the chess piece has value outside of the AB, where if you're running Spell Freight, it's literally just for the Spell Freight.
Well, Spell Freight doesn't cost you a resource to block that one. So
it doesn't, but it's also a one-time use. And I know why it's there for the
gains you 5 life against Kano.
Yes. I have it in my deck list. But I do like the way that they've taken the Armory deck, and it's definitely geared more towards Sandscar. Well, I mean more toward aim counters and just arrows that can get effects from aim counters. But I think they've really geared this towards a Sandscour type of playability, especially with the.
It comes with Death Dealer. We do know the bow. It comes in with Death Dealer, and your hidden agenda, the cards have to come in face down. There's going to be some mixing of doing face down and face up. And honestly, I really like how this deck is put together, because all of the equipment, if you read the different pieces of equipment, they actually synergize together quite well. Like
very well.
I still don't like the headpiece a lot, but getting the free resources from the chess piece does make Target Totalizer way more worth it, right? Because you have like the go again from the boots, you have go again from other effects like bolt and shot and stuff. And then Target Totalizer, if you recall, it's an action, destroy this whenever an arrow with an aim counter hits this turn, draw a card. If you could shoot 2 arrows with aim counters, this headpiece actually gets to be pretty good.
Sounding like a solid product. I mean,
yeah. I'm excited to play this deck. I'm just going to play it right out of the box and see how I like it.
For pre-constructed decks, they're doing a pretty good job with these Armory decks.
If Power's pretty good too, and from a market standpoint, Red in the Ledger needs to be added in that, because it's an older card. You're only going to get it in History Pack or Arcane Rising. Nobody's going to buy Arcane Rising. It's also not very expensive. Red in the Ledger, that is. So it's not like you're really undercutting. Knock is also super cheap, so you're really not doing anything to Knock either. But it is old, and so if it's not super expensive, right, but it's also hard to get, why, granted they only give you 1, but they didn't give the pre-meds, and they didn't give the I cannot think of the other one, Seek and Destroy, which I think is okay, because they at least give you,
it gives you something to look for.
I think, but you have the Lace with Inertia, which is a very similar effect. Good enough.
Yeah. In some cases, better, because if you give them Inertia and Seek and Destroy, you kind of just screwed yourself. I know that from.
It is weird that it only has 1 Red in the Ledger.
They want you to. Well, it also has only 1 of like the other stuff.
The Barbed
too.
Undertow. That's okay.
Yeah.
1 Barbed Undertow is okay.
I feel only like you want 2 Stone Rain as well, and I think only 1 Sleep Dart. If I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it is a playset of Sleep Darts.
I was about to say it better not be only 1 Stone Rain. I'll lose it.
No,
there's 3 Stone Rains.
Is it 3 Stone Rains?
Yeah.
It is 3.
I would be
It's
pretty
definitely 3
upset
stone
if
rains.
it was 1, because this. Okay, that's the next card, Stone Rain. This is a Stone
Card's
Rain
cracked.
is the other new. Okay, it's got some downsides, but I think it's quite good. It is a
it's good.
0 for 4 that blocks 3. Already pretty good. However, let's remember there are already really strong 0 for 4s in Ranger. You've got your Searing Shot, you got your Murkmire Grapnel, and you've got Endless Arrow. Endless Arrow is like, it's got to be as good as Endless Arrow and Searing Shot, right? So if this has an aim counter, it gets Dominate, and when this hits a hero, they banish face down a card from their hand. At the beginning of their next end phase, they return that card to their hand. Endgame arrow, this arrow can be superb. If it gets the Dominate, gets the hit, and gets go again, this is an excellent way to fight off fatigue and kill someone out of nowhere. However, I'm pretty sure this is just a way of like, I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's really good. It still needs an aim counter, or it's just a generic 0 for 4.
It's obviously
How hard is it to get aim counters, though?
It is really difficult.
With some of this gear, not that much, but that's if you're going to use it.
Azalea can do it if she flips a card off the top using her quiver. So she has an easier way to get it, though it does cost 1, so you lose the advantage of the Stone Rain basically being free. It's no longer free. You have to pitch a card. You could play Point the Tip. Point the Tip says target face-up arrow, gets +3, and an aim counter. And you could use Barbed Castaway, the really not super great bow that can flip a card face up and put an aim counter on it. And I think finally the new card, Line It Up.
And
you're forgetting something, buddy.
And that's it.
No, the new bullseye bracers.
Am I crazy? What does Sandscour Great Bow do?
Sandscour Great Bow does it, but you're not gonna. There's a reason people don't play Sandscour Great Bow. Death Dealer is cracked.
Yeah, Death Dealer is
yes, Death Dealer is cracked.
But the new gloves.
But who said it was an Azalea card?
Okay,
Just because it comes in the Azalea deck doesn't mean it.
The new gloves sharpshooters, they do block for 1, and they say destroy this, put an arrow card face up in your hand, your arsenal with a name counter, go again. I think these are probably pretty playable, right? They're not as good as bullseye bracers.
No.
And I'll tell you why. Because you can't give bolt and shot going again.
True.
And that's actually really, really important to the flow of how Ranger works. Is no matter what happens, no matter what crappy hand you draw, if you have a bolt and shot, it's almost always 2 attacks wide. And it makes your opponent answer a question. Does he have another arrow that he wants to shoot? Does he have a third arrow that he wants to shoot? Is he going to shoot me with this bolt and shot? And what's the bolt and shot actually threatening, right? If I block it out, are they just like, great, you blocked it out, Death Dealer, shoot arrow, and turn? Oh, you didn't block it out? 0 cost arrow, shoot it, break snaps, Death Dealer, arrow, pump, shoot. And you're just like, oh, I'd never make the right decision. Sharpshooters limits that, but aim counter arrows are kind of broken. So
it'd be a real deck cut.
I just think that they blew the creativity and a little bit more of the theory crafting, maybe open with giving a little ease of access to aim counters so that the Azalea can branch out just a little bit more on the arrows and maybe try and place like a barbed undertow if it doesn't mess with the curve, or something else of that facet.
I have a question. Do you think Azalea and Dash are friends somehow? Because if you look at the gear, it looks like she took a stop at Metrics real quick and picked up some loot.
I mean, that would make sense. The pits are right under Metrics.
Yeah,
so.
Because
she could have.
All this stuff looks like high tech, right?
It does way more than and even the background of the city kind of looks like Metrics in some of those pictures.
Flight Path literally looks like a weird edge of Metrics, right? Like a far edge of Metrics. Actually, that could be Misfail. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It is hard. She could be on the scene, but I don't know. I do know that she worked with Aracct for a little bit in lore, and that's about it. So I know she's done some things that she had to do to get out of tough times. But yeah, she's She's parlayed with Arachne before. We'll need our resident lore expert to kind of fill us in on some of this, but
Zach, if you're listening, get ready.
Man,
but from what I've seen and read a little bit on,
I just realized I actually kind of like break sharpshooters, load stone rain, triple pump shoot. It's pretty good.
A little bit.
That's a 13 dominate, rip a card from their hand.
Stone Rain is going to be a real card, okay, and it's gonna hamper the ability to just hold your entire hand because it's gonna have dominate. It's gonna feel pretty good if you get it pumped and it hits, and they have to put a card from their hand, and not be able to use it till the end phase. Meaning they get to arsenal it, but that's cool. Like that's
This is basically like intimidate plus.
Yeah. You're hitting them with a relevant on hit that's also going to affect their turn and their ability to hit you back, meaning you're going to be able to keep the majority of your cards and then hopefully send back another turn. And if they're on the arsenal, you're just hoping it's not a D-react, but even then, in most cases, it won't matter. You just release the tension. What D-react?
All right. So we had some battle hardens this past weekend too. I watched
quite a few events.
Watched Bologna and a little bit of the realm. But I thought the finals were pretty interesting because I looked at the top 8 and said, man, if Max just beats this first new, he has a line to top 8 or a line to actually win it. And then he did. Spoilers. Max the Hype Nitro picked up a battle hardened win. That's crazy.
How did that work?
It's a good deck. Okay.
It's a really good deck.
Okay.
It just sucks against certain...
Let me go and look. I'll explain it because when you look at the top 8, I knew immediately that Max actually had a good... Is that the one top 8 that I don't have
I can tell you what the top 8 was if you want it.
It was like, oh, this is the top 8 that the image that you sent is a top 8 before they fixed it. Because this is the one with 2 Riptides in it, but the Max isn't in the bottom bracket like he's supposed to be. Okay, so it was Enigma versus Riptide, then it was New versus Enigma, then it was a Riptide versus Max. No, it's there's something wrong with the bracket that you sent, and then it was a New versus Max, and I said, it doesn't really matter what bracket lineup happens here. His hardest matchup will be the Enigma, and he can beat Enigma. And the Riptides are almost free. I don't know if you've seen that matchup and how that interacts. The Riptide just hammers with arrows. He almost gets there. He draws like one hand of all arrows, and then the Max says, I gotcha. And he flips over the Mechanoid, and you can just never recover from the value. If the Max is at 15 life or above, he just kills you. And we saw exactly that happen too with the Max versus Riptide matchups on stream. The Riptide looked that he was in control. He was going to maybe take it down. And then he just started kind of fumbling, having weak hands, and gave the Max enough space to finally get a Mechanoid out. And it went much longer than it can usually go. Sometimes the Max is just like turn 3, flips Mechanoid, kills you. And Riptide can really struggle to kill someone by turn 3 when they have a whole bunch of block 3s in their deck.
Yeah, I can see that. Any hero that wants to take the game a little bit longer has to be concerned about the Mechanoid.
And I think as long as you don't misplay versus New, you also just kind of win. You don't want to get your Mechanoid Bonds of Agony and then your Supercells Bonds of Agony, right? Because then you just don't have a win condition. She could fatigue you. Yeah. So it was really just not losing to the Enigmas, which I can't recall, did he even play an Enigma? I think he played a New Riptide New, if I recall correctly. I can't recall. Maybe he did play an Enigma. I have to go check. But I thought that was really cool that Max finally picked up a major event win.
What's interesting is that I didn't hear the word Zen mentioned any time when you were talking about that top 8 either.
Okay, let's remember it's a battle hardened. I think we're around the 50 player mark. Even if there are a lot of Zens, I don't think it's when it's that small, it's going to be guaranteed. Let's see, the battle hardened that was won by Max was a 90 player, and no Zens in top 8. That's true. That's true. But however, guess who won the other battle hardened in Bali?
I mean, yeah, there's that.
It was a Zen, and there were 2 Zens in the top 8. That was actually a pretty interesting meta in the top 8 of Bali. It was a Zen KO, 2 KOs, a dash, 2 Zens, 2 KOs, dash, Bolton, New, and Azalea. So Bolton snuck in there too. Not surprised to see Dash. She's one of the few decks that could really, really contest Zen. Her aggression level, damage level is, if you look at an average, is almost as high as Zen, but she has equipment hate. And equipment hate is very good against Zen. You throw some early T-bones and Meganetics, and Zen can find himself completely missing his like combo setup.
He deserved it.
So
those equipment are just silly.
I'll have to rely on you to recap more of the realm, though. I only saw bits and pieces of that.
Don't rely on me too much because I caught bits and pieces as well. Because I was, like I mentioned before we started streaming, I was covered up with school stuff, which we may talk about a little more next week. But yeah, I didn't catch a whole lot, just a little bit here and there. I think I tuned in at one point and there was a new on stream. I'm like, ooh, interested. And I think the new lost, so I'm like, okay, I'm moving on now.
So I do have the top 8 meta. It was 1 New, 2 Kanos, 1 Azalea, 2 Prisms, 1 Levia, and a Zen. And Kano picked up the win there. Not really that surprising. I feel like a lot of times if Kano makes it into top 8, he's usually going to win it. That's just how I feel. It's like if Kano gets in top 8, he wins it. There were only 8 Kanos to enter the 92 player event, and 2 of them got top 8. Interestingly enough, Victor was the second most represented deck at 10 players, and he had no top 8 presence.
Victor's a weird
Victor's really good right now. I mean, even with new,
there were only 4
being
prisms.
As popular as she is.
There were only 4 prisms, and Prism was 2 of the top 8 as well. So
Prism's also a really good deck.
Conversion rates.
So
such interesting data.
I'm actually cheering for a Prism player for ProTour Amsterdam. Local Andrew Cook is going to be there.
Oh, cool.
Yep,
definitely rooting for him.
Yeah. So that would be my picks to win it, or at least get in top 8 and play for America, is Andrew Cook and William Bradshaw, Azalea and Prism. They're very good counters to the meta. Very skill intensive decks. Very fun to watch. Unless it's the Azalea mirror, that's not fun to watch. I think there was a battle hardened match where it was Azalea versus Azalea, and it was just like you just watched one guy get red and lizard like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, they can be pretty polarized depending upon who kind of sets up first and gets that power card momentum, especially with red and lizard, because it absolutely hoses the turn.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was that one game where Brody Spurlock and Michael Feng were in a Azalea mirror match, and they started on camera with all of the red and ledgers out of the deck. Just a gentleman's agreement to not play them.
Oh, they just gentleman's agreement sided them out. That's so funny. So, like at Nationals, the Riptide players that were all there, we had a gentleman's agreement that if we faced each other, we take out every trap but Buzzsaw and Collapsing Trap, and we just play full aggro into each other. No frailty traps, no inertia traps, just all out aggro, and whoever gets the hottest Buzzsaw or Collapsing Trap wins.
Oh, did you see that picture on Twitter from, oh gosh, my brain has just stopped, from Ed Knight?
No.
Oh man, he got Buzzsaw trapped when he had like a 40 power Golden Sun,
Oh, I did see it. I just didn't click on it because I thought he was bragging. I didn't know he was saying, "Look how wrecked I got."
He got wrecked. He got wrecked, man.
I saw the 40 and I'm like, he's just bragging that he built up a whole bunch of might tokens.
No, it was a tragedy. The story of that post was a tragedy.
I mean, I had a similar interaction happen where the victor was at 1 and he did a double cast Holmes and I just killed him with an inertia trap on the next turn.
Oh.
Yeah,
but no, that was
goes.
a very that was a high quality tweet because he was talking about Shakespeare. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and this picture is freaking Shakespeare or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like Romeo and Juliet level tragedy. It was a great post. It was just a great picture.
A picture's worth 1,000 words. These two pictures are a novel. I present to you a new masterpiece of tragedy.
That's quite a high attack to get brought back down. Okay.
Yeah, 1 card 37.
those are next level numbers.
Oh man,
that's good stuff.
That was so good.
All right, I think that about covers us for this week. I want to reiterate again, we have an event August 17th. $30 entry fee for a $500 plus prize pool at Level Up Duluth. I hope everyone can join us there. There'll be a link in the description. Anyone else?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's one more thing that I would like to at least touch on. Pro Tour is this weekend.
It is.
So,
okay, I can tell you why I dismissed it because in my head, I see a note. Amsterdam tier list. We've already done our homework. If you just go look at our nationals tier list, I bet you it's
basically the same.
It's exactly the same. The same contenders, guys. You don't disrespect your Kanos. Your Azaleas, your Prisms.
Zen is still super good. Still best deck in format. I think the cutting of the blue bonds toned him down a little bit because you can't do red descendant into blue bonds and trigger off that. So tone him down a little bit, but not a lot. He is still incredibly strong, and it's because bonds is a problem, but it was not the problem with Zen. The problem with Zen is his armor suite.
Okay, yeah, I feel like we probably know what the top 3 decks are. It's probably going to be Zen, Nu, and Victor. What do you think the 4th and 5th most played decks will be?
Azalea.
I think it might be Victor just because it's in Europe, and I think they tend to have a few more Guardian players in the top 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's Azalea in the top 3 instead, and Victor's in the top 5.
Watch out for those Prisms. Prism easily makes top 8. And I want a Dark Horse Vincent on Redline. And Kano.
Kano has not gotten worse. He's possibly gotten better.
And KO. KO's still out there too.
Talking about field representation, not talking about top 8.
I think KO's just strong. Like
KO's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you ever feel bad taking KO to any event. He's numbers just a good. He's just a not even just numbers good. He has relevant disruption. He's got he could play value, he could play disruption, he could play combo. I think he's just a strong deck. But I think the top 5 are going to be Zen, Nu, Azalea, Victor, Kano.
I can see that.
I think the big boys bring out the Kano deck.
I don't think there's going to be that many Kanos.
We said that about Nats, and they were just everywhere.
Yeah, but
I think it's basically the same as Nats. I think it's going to be Zen, Nu, Victor, and then Azalea and KO. I don't think Enigma makes it in the top 5.
I would give KO before I'd give Kano. I think people are still pretty comfy on Kano.
KO is still very, very good. I mean, Kano is also good, but KO is still very, very good.
All right, Dark Horse, because I'm taking Vincent on Redline.
Dash or Dash.io. Yeah, I think a mechanologist in general, not Tekla-Boston.
I would like to see Dash.IE win it just for the poetry and the fact that Dash.IE would go out with this win. I think that would just be beautiful. That would be poetry in motion, but I don't know if it'll actually happen. It would be cool.
I think one of the 3 heroes that can utilize T-Bone in this meta could maybe take it.
I don't think it's going to be Teklo, but yeah.
Not Tekla. He's not one of the three.
Well, you said three. I think three. I think Dash. I think
Dash,
the
Dash
Bright Lights
IO
Hero.
and Max are my.
You
my
meant Dash twice.
Dude.
You meant Dash twice,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Teklo.
Dude, Tekla Boston. Misfail did not do good for him. Despite getting options to improve his deck, the heroes are just so strong against him.
Yeah. The stealth attacks from New are very,
the board
very
presence
relevant.
from Enigma, Zen just running him down.
Yeah. Poor Tekla Daddy. All he needs is an armory deck. Him and Arachne.
Whoa.
Do we actually want Tekla Boston to be good? Let's be real. Like, I think about it all the time. It'd be kind of neat if he was good, but do we want a hero based off equipping armor and just pulling out this like unstoppable death machine?
You know what's crazy? You better get ready for it, because eventually Olympia is going to be a deck that wants to pull out a bunch of armor too. So,
but you don't have this like weird death machine combo thing that you're going at the end. You have to do a different kind of setup. I don't know.
It's definitely going to be.
I don't think I'd ever want Tekla Boston to be the best deck, but
definitely not, because that means he's throwing like 2 war machines at you every turn.
God, ugh.
It'll happen.
No, thank you. I don't ever want to see. I don't want to live in that world. But it would be every hero deserves their time in the sun. So eventually, yeah, I would like to see him at least meta relevant.
I think he will become more relevant when Kano finally hits Living Legend.
I don't know about that, because Rosetta is coming and there's going to be more wizards. So
yeah, but they're probably not going to be like the crazy burst you down for 102 that Kano
110. I got 110 last night. Literally 110 on my on the lethal turn. Sorry, a little salty about that.
Yeah. Man, sorry to downplay the Pro Tour. Like, it's because I'm not going. It's out of my head. This has been the most stepped back from Flesh and Blood I've ever been. I've been playing other video games and like just doing non-Flesh and Blood things. And no, Pro Tour is a big deal. We have a lot of friends going, so I hope they have a great time, and I hope I get to go next year. I get to plan.
I was gonna say it's also because it's far away too. You know what I mean? It's feasible, yeah, but like really feasible, no. I mean, it would have been cool to go to Amsterdam, but that's a big trip. That's a big commitment. But good luck to those that are playing, especially the locals and stuff. We're rooting for you guys. Georgia's
play the game, see the world, guys.
Yeah, strong.
Enjoy it.
Strong players. So come take it home.
Anything else, guys?
I'm done.
Okay. Noah, where can everybody find you, buddy?
Twitch.tv/BigMax, and then at BigMaxFab on Twitter, or on our local YouTube channel if we're streaming, which we should do more often. So you might see it. You might see some posts here and there.
Maybe another one.
Don't count it out.
Another one tomorrow?
Maybe. Okay. We can sling some games.
You can find me at Wet the System Fab. But also, if you just want to talk to me, hit me up on Discord at Wet the System on Discord, and you can almost always find me in the Card Guys Discord. I spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, I am DracoHominis87 on Twitter and basically everywhere else on social media. You can find me in the Cult of New Discord, which, are we still linking that? Is that in the description these days?
It's been in the description of all the live streams and stuff.
Yeah, I am very easily found there. You can also find me as Donnie K on fabric.gg, where I write a couple of different article series, but narrowed it down to 2 at this point. The next one, remember, did my last one come out already? I think it did. Anyway, the next one is going to be ProTour Amsterdam, which will be, after this weekend. And from there, we'll see. Question mark. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with us this week. If you did, subscribe or follow, depending on where you found us, to catch us again next time. Until then, take care of yourselves, and remember, we are all siblings in cardboard.
And discard your cards. You know what's going on over there in Europe. It's Amsterdam. I better see those cards being discarded this time.
No GRVs, please.
Yeah, come on. Let's do it right here. Dichi, No IP penalties. If you get IP'd, man, just don't draw the card. It's your IP. Just
keep your nerves if you end up on stream, or just turn it down. It's better to win than to get on stream and freak out.
Everybody's here for a good time. Those cards.